Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to today's episode of Best Stock Picks. Today it is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. And from an active trading perspective, a lot of traders are frustrated right now for good reason. We're not really seeing a lot of momentum. These slow grinding moves to the upside in the indices I'm specifically talking about have made it harder for traders to rely on the market to give them trend type days and then to feel confident in those individual stocks. But that's not stopping us from really being on top of some stock picking ideas, which obviously that's the whole point here, right? But I do want to make it clear, if you're home and you're trading by yourself right now and you're finding it a little frustrated to get follow through, you just need to dig a little bit deeper into two things. Number one is pay attention to what the market is doing and what it's telling you. I think a lot of traders are leaving money on the table right now because they're looking for the market to reverse. I do believe it's coming soon, and I'll explain why in 1 second. But that should not stop you from really working harder to find good ideas. There's plenty of stocks with earnings, plenty of stocks in the news. We're going to discuss Zoom today. We're going to discuss crowdsource today. We're going to discuss work. Plenty of opportunity, but you need to, in this particular environment where we're not seeing momentum in the market, and some of the market leaders, quite honestly, are not exactly exploding to new highs either. You have to go a little bit deeper to a different list of stocks and trade some stocks you might not necessarily be comfortable with because you've never traded them before, which can be a little bit scary, jumping into a stock that you don't know. That's one of the easiest ways to be successful as a trader, is to know your stocks like the back of your hand, trade them on a regular, consistent basis, and then always look to be adding or subtracting stocks from what I call your universe. So we're going to go right over to the charts. We're going to take a look at the SPY. We're going to see why there's a little bit of confusion, for lack of a better way of putting it, especially if you use that and you really lean on that to create some opportunity. Although we had a green candle yesterday, it was anything but smooth sailing. We had one period during the day, which ironically was lunchtime from 11:30 to 1:30, where there was a clean trend. But other than that, the volume, I would call the volume putrid for making new highs, and we're actually up again today. So the point I'm making here is be a stock picker in this market, because the market itself is, although it's going higher, a lot of people are confused about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the market, and individual stocks. But again, as an active trader, you should not care about trying to decipher why stocks are continuing to go up, because we're not investing here. We're trading in stocks that maybe we're going to hold for a day, a week, a month, or something along those lines. Absolutely need to do your research. You absolutely need to know what's going on, but don't forecast your opinion of the economy and where it should be in a trade that you plan on holding for 3 days. That's a big disconnect in goals, which was actually a really big conversation that we had last night in our weekly coaching call. Why did you become a trader? What was your goal when you got into the business and started to actively manage your own account? You need to understand and build a strategy that matches where you want to go. It's really pretty simple. You can't mix and match long-term goals with short-term goals and not be clear on what your goals are, because your strategy has to match how you want to get there. So if it's short-term trading, like in my world where I'm looking for that 3 to 5 day move, you might tend to sometimes miss out on some of those bigger, longer-term moves, but that's okay because I'm looking for another opportunity, right? So we're going to go right over to the charts. And we are going to see why a lot of traders are a little bit confused right now. You can see how the decrease in volume in the SPY compared to what it normally does, in spite of making new highs again and coming pretty close to making multi-month highs. This lack of activity here, lack of volume, lack of, I guess you would call it oomph, momentum and volatility, is confusing some people, and it shouldn't be, because the bottom line is we're still going up, and especially if you look on the weekly charts, there's no reason to look at anything but long. Now, let me remove that so it's a little more clear. We're still moving higher. Do I believe that we're going to have a pullback? Yeah, of course we're going to have a pullback. Is it today? I have no idea. But the bottom line is, if you're looking for the pullback and hesitating on the long side, you're leaving money on the table. So we're going to talk about some stocks today. Zoom, which has just had some incredible numbers for obvious reasons. It seems like half the world right now is using Zoom, whether to communicate with family and friends, and certainly everybody in business who can't be in an office with their office mates and people in their company. Zoom reports earnings this afternoon. If you know my style of trading, I love to trade the earnings, but after they come out, so trading it into earnings, it's been a pretty active stock. Now it's actually up $7, over 3.5% pre-market. So it might be a little bit the news priced in to Zoom heading into earnings, which is scheduled for this afternoon, but definitely keep it on your radar. Crowd, CRWD, we've actually been talking about this stock quite a bit recently as well, and you can see why. Finally broke through the 80 level. We had the alert set for that level, and two really nice well-bid days. Now, 3 well-bid days in a row, but a couple of gaps here as well. I'm actually looking for a push higher again today. If it does open up, it looks like it's set to open up $1.85 higher. I'll actually be looking for a pullback to bid for it. I wouldn't be trading the open, but I do love the stock long. One stock that has been in our radar quite a bit, that we have been all over, quite honestly, especially we've been a subscriber to the channel for a while. We waited for it to get past this level, roughly $29. We said, let's get through that level and pause. We actually finally did, and we got a really solid move, almost $10 there, but now it's actually up again. It just had a price target from Wells Fargo of 41. So again, be careful of trading the news that might be priced in already. But if you're long, be aware of those levels. You can still trade it maybe 1 or 2 more days, depending on where it gets up there. It looks like it's going to open somewhere near 39. CAR we called out yesterday as a new swing trade. This is exactly what the same thing that we talked about in work that we just looked at. We wanted to see it finally punch through that level, finally punch through, paused for a few days, initiated a new long. Hopefully you took the long with us yesterday if it matches your personal criteria. And we have some room to go here all the way up here to 32.50. So it'll be interesting to see how that one continues to follow through. Trip, I actually did not call out Trip, but it was called out by John in our community, where it was a really solid, what I call energy candlestick, really good tape reading where it just pulled back to support and bidding that support, and one strong solid day of 13%. I mean, there's some amazing, you don't need to trade $400 stocks, and you can, if you can, fine. But what I'm saying is you're not missing out on opportunity if you're in the right trade. So Trip was a great one that John called out. Looking for follow through in Trip today as well. Interesting one in DraftKings. We're starting to see, and I'll pull up here so you can see the tape. We're actually starting to see exhaustion, which happens after a significant move into larger green candlesticks, in this case to the upside. A higher opening today for me personally, if I was long from this pause or from this pause, I'd be looking to really tighten up my trailing stop, just because we're starting to see some cleanup prints there. But I have liked it long and still do. BYND is another one that's in the list today. Oop, maybe if I could type right, we get it going. Again, we're looking for a break of this most recent price action. So we have alert set at 145. This is a trade that should be on your watch list. Absolutely look for one more day because that's still $7 away from where it's actually trading now. So one more day into resistance, possibly a one-day cash flow, maybe 2. We'd love to see it pause above the 145 level before initiating a new long. DocuSign's another one that's been in the list for a while. And by the way, something I want to bring up in regards to, again, missing trades on the long side. I have 0 stocks that meet my criteria for a short sale right now. 0. So what does that tell you about how aggressively you should be looking long and ignoring anything else instead of being afraid of the market turning around? Of course, it's going to turn around at some point, but don't leave this money on the table. So anyway, DocuSign, very similar to what we just saw in DraftKings, really solid multi-week move. But again, look at the exhaustion, large spikes in price action after a significant move. That's usually exhaustion. So again, on a higher opening, it's opening up almost 3%, over $4 right now, or at least that's where it's trading now. I'd be looking for that higher opening to exhaust itself. And if you're long already, there's the right time to get involved and the time where you should be looking to trim and trail. This is what I'd be looking to do right there, right now. Next, ADSK. Not so much exhaustion because we actually are seeing a nice punch up here. Actually, you know what? That kind of is the same thing. Yeah, we're actually seeing that as well here. But in this particular instance, this is different because we actually just cleared a obvious resistance level with some relatively good volume. So if you happen to not be long from this pause here, which would have been the proper trade because we actually just broke this resistance, got up, paused, and kind of see the theme here where we paused through resistance and punched through again. For me personally, I would not be getting involved after the stock just traveled $25. I'd be looking for a pause above 210 to get involved again. If you happen to be long already, I would stick with it. I don't see any reason to get out of it right now. We definitely have an increase in volume here, but I think that there's more to go here. So I would personally be in it longer again. We also have Pan American Silver. We actually called this out yesterday, ended up getting a nice clean trade through the highs again yesterday. Again, now well bid 3 days in a row after this bullish U-turn. So I still like this stock long. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see why. We are actually clearing multi-year highs right now. Maybe some resistance up here at 34, which is still another $3.50 away. So I like this one long as well. Again, though, it's 1, 2, 3 days of well bid, a higher opening, which looks like I'm going to open flat, which would be the best case scenario. Flat opening, definitely look for a long there as well. Lulu continues to make all-time highs. Stock is just ripping through price levels. And again, if you watch this morning Stocks for Breakfast, we're looking for these nice well-bid candlesticks, well-bid weeks. And until that changes, we should still look to be long. So actually, this lower opening that it's trading at right now actually looks for a nice spot to be long. So I've been looking to bid Lulu lower, looking for yesterday's high to be my minimum price target. PENN is one that we've been watching for a while too. And what I want to point out here is you can see where we got the resistance level. It's been having a hard time. It literally got up there and just stopped dead in its tracks. But we're actually slowing down on lighter volume. So I have an alert set for PENN at $35 to look for the next punch through. So nothing on the short side. If the market happens to roll over, look for a spot to bid. We saw that in a lot of stocks yesterday. If you're looking for new swing trades, it can be a little tough to be initiating new trades after something's already moved for several weeks in a row. And then the most recent trades where it might have moved 4 or 5 days in a row, those are usually the sucker plays on higher openings if it's already had all of that price action. And that's really where a lot of traders struggle, is that they don't understand there's more to the trade than the fact that it just meets the criteria. You have to add that last piece of, is it a good time to buy now to manage my risk in exchange for the profit potential? So we saw that in a few trades. ZS was one of them where maybe we'll get one more day out of that. So if you have any comments, leave them below. If you have any stocks you'd like us to take a look at, absolutely leave them below. And if you find these videos helpful and we've helped you make some money, absolutely subscribe and let me know. That'd be kind of cool to hear from you. Have a great day.